The Venice Lagoon is known to be one of the most breathtaking destinations in the world, home to the enchanting floating city of Venice. But lesser known is an island just a short distance away, a forbidden tomb of the dead. According to historicmysteries.com, originally a home to a community of escaped government slaves and later converted into a military outpost, Poveglia earned the title as the Island of Death when it was established as a quarantine zone for not one, but two waves of bubonic plague victims beginning in the 1500s. It was there that hundreds of thousands of infected Venetians were exiled from the main islands, packed into beds of 3 bodies or more, and left to die. Fever-induced and covered in oozing blood and pus boils, plague victims within the quarantine zone were not treated and oftentimes forced into mass graves when it was determined they would not make it. An epicenter of suffering within the Venice Lagoon, many sources speculate that up to 50% of Poveglia's soil is actual human remains. It is said that you can still hear the pained wailing of the infected whispering throughout the trees on the island, a morbid reminder that the past has yet to be washed away by the lagoon water. Long after the island's quarantined populations were shoveled into the earth, the island found new purpose through the establishment of a hospital founded in 1922 and marking a new era of death. The hospital included an infamous mental asylum where perverse experiments were performed on the mentally afflicted. Lobotomy was said to have been common practice, which involves the insertion of metal screws into the cranium of a victim to literally scramble their brain. It's hard to imagine the amount of suffering that has transpired within the now dilapidated structures of Poveglia's asylum, just mere kilometers from the idyllic serenity of the Venice canals. And because many of these structures still stand, visitors who have snuck onto the island say that the smell of death still hangs in the air. The island of Poveglia was officially closed in 1968 when the hospital was shuttered forever. The island became a forbidden tomb of the dead, of which the Italian government has been unable to sell at an acceptable price. There was a bid on the island in 2014 for just roughly $700,000, but the government refused the offer. Soil rich with the blood and tears of countless victims permeate what's now called a cursed island. There are many legends involving the now abandoned island, most popular of which is that of a psychotic doctor who, after performing countless torturous medical experiments on the mentally ill, took his own life by jumping from the top of the hospital's bell tower. Some accounts on Ranker.com allege that mental patients discovered the doctor's dying body soon after he jumped from the bell tower and lodged him within an unfinished portion of the mortar. You can still see this very bell tower, sitting quietly above the tree line of the island, cementing within the brick walls the tormented soul of the disturbed doctor. Poveglia is closed to visitors, but locals of the Venice Lagoon keep the island's history alive through the passing of cautionary tales. Sailors are keen to keep a safe distance away from the shores out of respect of those who died upon them, and fear the spirits who remain. So next time you consider a vacation to the floating city, remember that not far away is another type of floating city, the Island of Death.